Hello and welcome to another edition of Dash Cam Wisdom. This is Dr. Charlie Cartwright. So I've got a new t-shirt today and it matches my subject matter, and it's about reading and how important it is. And I received a request just maybe 2 days ago from Mary Ann, and I talked about a couple of books, and she said, hey, it'd be great to have a video and maybe just talk about your top 5 books that you would recommend and kind of go into a little more explanation about the books. So that's today's video. So the first book, and I've got 5 here, and the first one I want to talk about is not actually a book to read, but a book to write in. And it's my journal. And I have ideas in here. It's with me at all times. So if I'm in a restaurant, I'm in a meeting, I'm in my office, I'm on the road in my car, the journal's there. And here's why. People say things that are really awesome if you pay attention and listen. And someone says something very insightful, I write it down. Also, I've read this and learned it personally. Great ideas don't make appointments. You'll have an idea pop into your mind, and you think to yourself, oh, when I get home, I'm going to write that down. Or when I get back to the office, I'm going to write that down. And what happens? Your phone rings, you get busy. Gone. Can't remember what it was. At night, next to the bed, right there, because sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night with an idea. Write it down. I mean, I've woken up with an idea and it's an hour-long presentation. If I didn't write it down, I'll write that down when I wake up in the morning. Gone. So that journal is so valuable. So that's number 1. Number 2, this book here, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. I think this should be required reading for every human being on the planet. And here's why. Viktor Frankl was a clinical psychologist who was captured by the Nazis in World War II and put into a concentration camp. And so he wrote about his experience from the perspective of a psychologist. And so it's fascinating. It's a hard read. I'll tell you right now, maybe you get through a couple pages a day. I just had to put it down. But I think that it's impossible for you to read that book and not come out a better human being. It's that important. The fact that something like that was able to happen on this planet, and it wasn't really that long ago in the grand scheme of things. And we've got to make sure that we learn all the lessons from that, because history that is forgotten is repeated. So this one's next. The One Thing by Gary Keller. It'll really help you focus in. Because a lot of times we want to get things done, but where do I start? What do I do first? What do I do next? This book will clear that up and really make you so much more productive. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Talked about this the other day. And I've got the complete classic text. This is the deluxe version with the gold embossed pages and the bookmark so I can keep my place as I read through this. There are so many principles in this book that there's no way that you can gather all of them in one reading. And yes, it's about your career, professionalism, earning income, but it's about so much more than that. And the principles are timeless. It took him over 20 years of research to put this book together. And it's a must read. And again, as I mentioned the other day, once you finish reading it, start over. Okay? Always be reading this book every day. I remember watching a video with Bob Proctor. And this was, man, he must have made this video 20, 30 years ago. It was on an interview. And the person asked him about his reading, and he pulled this book out of his bag. It was one of 2 that he carried with him at all times. And he said at that time he'd read this book 332 times. Next, Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. Maximize our outcomes, maximize our potential. We have to understand how the subconscious mind works. This book will get you there. This was the other book that Bob Proctor pulled out of his bag, said he carries with him at all times. It's that important. And this opened up a whole new world for me because it wasn't taught in schools. I still don't think it's taught in schools. And it's so fundamental to having a successful life, both personally and professionally. So those are my book recommendations for today. Thanks for listening. Have an awesome day. And we'll talk to you next time on Dash Cam Wisdom. Take care.